What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Sports Podcast. This is episode number 2 of our MLB season previews. Yesterday we did the White Sox. Today we're doing the Colorado Rockies. Luis, how's it going?
I'm doing great. I actually just got back from Colorado. So I reported to camp last week with the pitchers and catchers out to Coors Field. Great ballpark. I hear the area is a vibey area. Great area to be around. Great area to just be at. But they told me no, we're not giving you a non-roster invite. So I got back on the plane 2 days later. So they were like, thanks, but no thanks. So
I'm sorry to hear that. It does look like a very nice stadium out there in Colorado. I've never been able to make it. Attendance has been going down the past couple of seasons.
Well, what is there to watch? What is there to watch on that team? Let's be honest. Everybody, all I hear about it is that, and here's a tidbit. I was talking to my boys, I think it was 2 nights ago, because I have a bunch of friends. You also have Joe. We also have Joe that lives out there.
Yep.
You know what one of their dishes is? One of their every ballpark has a signature dish.
Yeah.
Supposedly they have this. I'm gonna pull it up right now. I want to be correct with it because it's actually quite crazy. It's like green chili nachos, but the nachos are actually very interesting. And I think they're like bull testicles, or they're a part of the bulls that they eat. And supposedly it is a fan favorite at the Coors Field.
All right, yeah.
Obscure foods.
Look that up. While you do that, I'll get started on the team itself.
I can't find it. I tried looking it up. I have to take me a time, but yeah, okay. Let's get into it. You want me to go through the team and you'll do the analysis, or do you want to take the lead and want my analysis on the Colorado Rockies?
I'll go through the roster, and then I'll get your analysis, and then we can chop it up. Last year they were 61 and 101. Their over under this year is 58.5. So you're looking at actually their over under suggests a slight decrease in performance coming. If you're looking at the roster again, this is according to Fangraphs. So if it's not exact, don't come for us, Rockies fans. Center field, Brenton Doyle. Shortstop, Ezekiel Tovar. Third base, Ryan McMahon. DH, Kris Bryant. First base, Michael Toglia. Left field, Nolan Jones. Second base, free agent acquisition, Tyro Estrada. Right field, Jordan Beck. And catcher, Jacob Stallings. On the bench, you have Hunter Goodman. He's from Arlington. He's from the Memphis area. Infielder, Kyle Farmer. Sam Hilliard and Greg Jones on the bench. Looking at the rotation, you got Herman Marquez, who's been there since 2016. Ryan Feltner, Kyle Freeland, Antonio Senzatella, Austin Gomber. And then in the bullpen, led by guys Justin Lawrence, who I like, and they recently acquired Scott Alexander. Also got Tanner Gordon, Lucas Gilbreth, Victor Vodnik, Luis Peralta, and kind of a bunch of guys. What are your thoughts on the 2025 Colorado Rockies roster?
This team's actually not that bad. I thought this team was worse than everything. But, Ezekiel Tovar had a great year last year. I think he was one of the bright spots on that team. I had him on my fantasy squad last year. He's a really good player. He's coming up. Ryan McMahon, I think Ryan McMahon goes into every MLB lineup except probably the upper echelon, 5 to 7 teams don't take him. I know a team that would die to have Ryan McMahon, but Ryan McMahon is the face of the franchise. If you've ever flown into DIA, not getting too deep into the Denver International Airport, but he is on the intercom on the train welcoming you to Denver.
Saying, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I've actually flown there. So yeah, he's
and you're right. The Yankees would absolutely love Ryan McMahon. He would make a lot of sense.
I think a lot of teams love him. I think he's one of the most underrated players in baseball. Defensively and a bat, I think he's great. Okay. He's a lefty too. Obviously, Kris Bryant's kind of the sore spot. He's a case study. I think every year we look at Kris Bryant and he's a case study of what the hell happened to him, what happened to him after that. And I'm a Tyro Estrada fan. Again, I believe in his talent a lot. I think he's a great MLB above average player. I think he starts in many teams. And then Jacob Stallings, you know what you get out of him. Absolutely no bat, but Gold Glove defense behind the dish, and the guy that's going to help your rotation for a rotation that, I mean, it's kind of average. I mean, Herman Marquez, Kyle Freelander, and Antonio Sensatella have been mainstays with Austin Gomber. So the thing about Colorado, it's so hard to construct a team there because the altitude and, you know, that outfield, you can't really have like unathletic outfielders. You got to have guys like Brenton Doyle, who's an elite defender out there, because that outfield is huge. If
Yeah.
you've watched games there, you've seen it. Like, it's a lot of ground to cover. So, I mean, very, very interesting team. I mean, their farm system looks really good too. They got Chase Dollander, who's doing really well. Charlie Condon, Brody Brecht. I'm a big Brody Brecht guy. Adele Amador and Yankel Fernandez. Like, really, really good, interesting guys. Then you obviously guys have like Drew Romo, who was one of their top prospects, and they also had Benny Montgomery. So all in all, I think this seems pretty interesting. Like, I don't think they're that bad. I think, you know, it just stinks, as we say, they're part of the NL West. But I think this team is going to creep up on a lot of like those like bad teams. It's just a matter of time where they get pitching, but I see the vision. 2 years ago, I didn't see the vision. Now I see the vision.
Yeah, I can see the vision a little bit better than I did a couple years ago. It's a really tough place to build a winner, you know, just with the altitude. Like, their pitchers, it's hard to gauge just how good they are. Like, they always finish usually dead last in ERA and WHIP, K per nine, hits per nine, and home runs per nine. They're all, you know, 29th or 30th. It's a really tough place to pitch. And, you know, we've seen that in their draft strategy the past few seasons. They continue to pick pitchers. Brody Brecht from Iowa last year. I'm a big Chase Dollander believer. I don't think he'll be up this year. He's been working on that slider. But and Charlie Condon, the outfield / third baseman, is exciting coming out of Georgia, but he's not going to be ready this year.
That was kind of a BPA thing where they kind of got lucky that they were picking third. He was supposed to be this number 2 overall pick, but of course the Reds went the direction of Chase Burns. And I feel like, not to intrude too much, but with Dollander and Breck, it kind of shows what they're building towards. They're building towards guys that are strikeout guys, high velo, wipeout stuff guys, because you can't get fly ball pitchers, and pitching to contact there is crazy because, you know, it's altitude.
Yeah, it gives you an advantage or for hitters and a disadvantage for pitchers that is really unlike anything else in sports. I know, like, the Broncos and the Nuggets play at altitude, and the players have to run in high altitude, which is a lot harder, but it's not like they're hitting baseballs, which are, you know, scientifically proven to travel much further in the altitude. And away players just absolutely love playing in Colorado because it's so easy to hit there. And a lot of their hitters have inflated numbers. We talk about the Coors tax and everything like that. I like Brenton Doyle. You know, I think he proved last year that he's more than just a fielder. He was able to swing it a little bit. He finished with a 260 average and a 104 OPS plus with 30 stolen bases and 23 home runs. So good season for him last year, 4 WAR season. Let's see if he can replicate that. Gonna need Nolan Jones to bounce back. You know, he was one of the guys they were kind of highly touting heading into last season. Didn't necessarily work out for him. He came over via trade with the Guardians in 2022. Jacob Stallings, good defensive catcher. I believe Jacob Stallings won a Gold Glove when he was in Miami.
No, it was in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he was elite in Pittsburgh. And to add to your point about Coors Field, you know there's a humidor in Coors Field.
No, I did not know that.
They put the balls in the humidor so it doesn't allow them to travel as much. That was one of the big things in the home run derby the other year when they were doing it in Coors, that they didn't put the balls in the humidor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So,
that All-Star game was great, by the way. The vibes in that
uniforms,
stadium.
Everything. You know, it's the last year of those City Connect uniforms. One of my favorite City Connect uniforms, the license plate City Connect uniforms.
The green ones? They're retiring them after this season?
Now, a lot of teams are retiring their City Connects next year.
Yeah.
But hey, What do you really feeling? Do you like it's just a shame. I think like they're gonna creep up on teams. What do you think?
I think they could creep up on teams if they weren't in the National League West. Now, I don't want to step on some of the other previews too much, but I think maybe people are potentially overrating the National League West a little bit. I like their lineup. I think there's some talent there, especially if the young guys like Nolan Jones and Tovar and um, Jordan Beck can step up. Brenton Doyle can have another good season. There's always the question of the rotation and the bullpen's not that great. But I do like the addition of Scott Alexander, which I believe happened today.
A lot of righties in the lineup too. They have righties and one switch hitter, and then two true lefties.
It's just hard to see them like pushing for 70 wins. I mean, the over under is 58.5. That feels right. They also lost Charlie Blackmon to retirement. I think like the best case scenario is somehow they crack 70 and finish like
You mean 60?
Somehow get to 70 or 65, 70 and somehow finish fourth in the National League West. Worst case scenario, I mean, they have the potential to be the worst team in baseball and finish with like 50 wins.
I disagree. I don't think they're the worst team. I think their roster is way better than some of the bad teams. And that's why I'm going to take the over on them, 58.5. I think this team can surprise a bunch of people. I like what they're building out there.
Wow. Okay, you're in. So you're betting
I'm buying into the Rockies hype this year. I don't know. I just get that feeling. I mean, the pitching's not great, but I feel like they have enough of those bats. I like Doyle. I like the defense. I like Doyle. I feel like they're going to make some noise. Like they're definitely going to make some noise with Central teams. Like they're definitely going to give the Cardinals a run for their money. Even though the Cardinals are infinitely better, I do feel like Cardinals are due for a big regression because of what's going on with that roster. And then the Rockies are going to get better throughout the year. And then Kris Bryant, I mean, he's like Javi Baez at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's one of the more disappointing stories in baseball history. I mean, he was so beloved in Chicago, and it didn't work out in San Francisco. Really, I mean, he was there for half a season.
All those Cubs guys, Rizzo. What was Rizzo? What do you remember Rizzo for the Yankees for? I remember him for pitching and being a manager.
Honestly, I remember the most is the concussion.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's signed yet.
No, he's a free agent.
Yeah.
So
Kris Bryant's owed $27 million for the next 4 seasons.
What are you taking? Over or under?
You're over. I'm gonna go under. I just don't see it with this team this year. And they're gonna have to play a bunch of games against the Dodgers. I don't think they got better. I like Hunter Goodman on the bench. I think he could be a really good DH utility guy. But it's a bet on a lot of young dudes, and the pitching in their farm system just isn't quite there yet. So under.
You love yourself some Memphis grown products, some local grown products. It's like if they're local grown products, you're like, yeah, Hunter Goodman, Austin Riley. Like some of them is warranted, like Austin Riley. Oh yeah, I'm buying in. It's like
hey,
you're like that meme. I don't know what cartoon show, but it's like take my money. That's you when it comes to local homegrown prospects.
Yeah, he did go to the University of Memphis, 4th rounder in 2021.
Oh, even better. You'll buy more stock into that. If you went to Butler and it was a local product, take my money now.
Hey, Pepio went to Butler and he's put together himself a nice little career in LA and now Tampa. But I do have my biases, that's for sure. I do have my biases.
Yeah, I think this team's not bad. I mean,
okay, you're in. I do enjoy watching games in Coors Field. Like it's just good vibes. The West Coast slate. I think it's place I want to go watch a ball game at some point.
They'll be good .TV. They'll get some good .TV matchups. Like you'll be able to watch the Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Giants. But they'll be there. I think good best case scenario, they'll probably compete with the Giants. If the Giants don't perform up to the level that they're supposed to perform, which we'll get into later, I think they could be right there.
I don't disagree.
They can knock. I don't think they can get over, but they'll be knocking on the door.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I was alluding to with the NL West stuff. I don't disagree. Looks like the Yankees are going out to Colorado this year in May. So there you go. Be watching 3 games out in Colorado.
Hey, there you go. So anything else to add about the Rockies? I mean, anything of note other than
Not really. I feel like they're kind of the forgotten team. All due respect to Rockies fans, I feel like they're kind of the forgotten team of Major League Baseball. One of those forgotten teams of professional sports. They don't get a lot of love. I There's some talent there, but just not the most exciting team. Bud
They have
Black's still there at manager.
they have some rich history. I mean, they've had great players like Larry Walker, Dante Bichette, Ubaldo Jimenez, just to
Todd
name a few.
Helton,
Todd Helton too. Yep, a bunch of like really really good players. They went to the World,
Cargo,
they went to the World Series in 2003, and they played the
2000,
Red Sox.
2007.
No,
Yeah,
wasn't it
they got
three?
swept.
Wasn't it three? Who the Red Sox
No.
play in three?
'03 was Yankees versus Marlins, and the Marlins won in 6, I believe.
Oh, they played Boston. That's who it was.
They played Boston in 2007 and got swept. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. It was that year, but hey.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I'll be watching some .TV of the Rockies, man.
All right.
Everybody says like we got to get out there. So I know my boys say we got to get out there. I know Joe's egging us on to get out there. So hey, maybe on our bucket list to get out there over Tampa. I live 3 hours away from Tampa, but I'm not going to Steinbrenner Field. With all due respect.
With all due respect. All right. On that note, 16 minutes or so on the lovely Colorado Rockies. If you're a fan, we hope you guys have a great season. Luis is on the over. I'm going under. We will be back tomorrow with the Miami Marlins, which bodes to be a fun episode. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until then, we'll catch you next time. Peace out.